Most people know Jamaica for its reggae rhythms, golden beaches, and Olympic sprinters. But what if I told you that this tiny Caribbean island, barely the size of Connecticut, has built one of the strongest cultural identities on Earth? A country of fewer than 3 million people whose voice echoes across continents. From music and sports to global trade and diplomacy, Jamaica's influence stretches far beyond its shores. Yet now, the nation stands at a new crossroads, one that could transform its soft power into real economic and strategic strength. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll see how Jamaica could evolve from a cultural giant into one of the most dynamic small economies of the 21st century. And before we dive in, make sure to subscribe if you love deep stories about nations rewriting their destiny. Jamaica's story begins with something that no statistics can truly measure: its spirit. This island has always been more than its size, more than its GDP, and more than its challenges. It has something the world can feel but not easily define: soul. When people hear the word Jamaica, they don't just think of a place, they feel a vibe. That vibe comes from music, rhythm, resilience, and freedom. Reggae was born in the streets of Kingston during the late 1960s, in a time when social change was sweeping across the world. But for Jamaicans, reggae was more than entertainment. It was expression. It told the stories of ordinary people struggling under inequality and dreaming of liberation. It fused African drum beats with Caribbean rhythms, producing a sound that carried power and purpose. When Bob Marley sang about one love or redemption song, he wasn't just performing. He was speaking to humanity's conscience. That is why UNESCO declared reggae a global cultural treasure in 2018, recognizing it as part of humanity's intangible heritage. The music became a bridge between continents. Through reggae, Jamaica found a way to communicate its message of unity, resilience, and social justice to millions of listeners who had never stepped foot on the island. Then came dancehall, a genre that injected new fire into the Jamaican sound. It was faster, bolder, and deeply urban. Artists like Shabba Ranks, Beanie Man, and later Sean Paul and Shaggy turned Jamaica's patois into a global rhythm. Even mainstream artists like Rihanna, Drake, and Beyoncé have borrowed heavily from Jamaican beats and expressions. What began as local slang and street music is now part of global pop culture. From the Rastafarian red, green, and gold that symbolize unity and faith to the dreadlocks that became a symbol of freedom, Jamaica's culture spread far beyond its borders. The island transformed its identity into a brand, one that speaks of rebellion, creativity, and peace all at once. Every time someone wears a Marley t-shirt or hums a reggae tune, Jamaica's influence grows. And that influence isn't just cultural, it's economic. Reggae festivals around the world generate millions in revenue. Global tourism thrives partly because of the country's cultural allure. Jamaican slang and style dominate streetwear and youth culture globally. In essence, Jamaica turned creativity into export power. Few nations of its size have mastered that kind of soft power. If reggae is Jamaica's soul, then sprinting is its thunder. There's something poetic about how this island, small, vibrant, and full of energy, produces the fastest humans on Earth. Every Olympic year, the world watches in amazement as Jamaica conquers the tracks again and again. Usain Bolt didn't just break records, he broke stereotypes. His electric smile, his confidence, and his unbelievable speed turned him into one of the most recognized figures on the planet. But Bolt is just one star in a galaxy of Jamaican athletic brilliance. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, known as the Pocket Rocket, is among the most decorated female sprinters in history, with multiple Olympic golds. Elaine Thompson-Herah stunned the world when she defended her Olympic 100m and 200-meter titles, an achievement rarely seen in women's athletics. What makes this even more remarkable is that Jamaica's athletes often train in facilities that are nowhere near as advanced as those in the United States or Europe. Yet their drive, discipline, and cultural pride push them to outperform nations with 10 times the resources. A key part of this success lies in the annual Boys and Girls Championships, affectionately called Champs. Held every year in Kingston, it's more than just a school competition. It's a national celebration. Thousands fill the stadium to cheer for teenage athletes who may soon become global icons. It's this grassroots system that fuels Jamaica's continuous production of world-class sprinters. Sprinting is more than sport, it's identity. It's a reflection of national pride, of overcoming limitations. Every victory on the track carries a message. Jamaica may be small, but it stands tall. This global dominance also feeds into tourism and brand value. The country's name itself has become synonymous with excellence and determination. Major brands like Puma and Nike have long partnerships with Jamaican athletes, further expanding the country's global presence. Even local communities benefit. Young people across the island are inspired to train harder, chase their dreams, and represent their nation. Jamaica's success on the track is not just about medals, it's about mentality. The next challenge for Jamaica is clear: how to turn all this influence into real economic and political power. For decades, Jamaica's soft power, its music, athletes, and global reputation, has opened doors. Now, the goal is to walk through them with strategic purpose. Geographically, Jamaica is perfectly positioned, sitting right between North, Central, and South America. The island lies along one of the most vital shipping routes in the world, just a few hours from the Panama Canal and close to the U.S. mainland. This makes a natural gateway for international trade. Kingston Harbor, one of the largest natural harbors on the planet, has long been recognized for its potential. Today, it's being developed into the heart of Jamaica's logistics vision. The government wants Jamaica to become the Singapore of the Caribbean, a center for global trade and distribution. This vision is not just theory, it's already taking shape. The Kingston Freeport Terminal, operated in partnership with CMA-CGM, one of the world's biggest shipping companies, has been expanded to handle some of the largest container ships in existence. Meanwhile, infrastructure projects like the North-South Highway, funded by Chinese investment, have drastically cut travel times across the island, connecting key cities and boosting commerce. Beyond shipping, Jamaica is investing in air and digital trade. The Vernam Field Aerotropolis project, set to transform an old airbase into a modern cargo and logistics hub, could redefine regional connectivity. Combined with advanced customs and special economic zone laws, Jamaica is laying the foundation to become a regional trade powerhouse. These initiatives aim to shift Jamaica from an import-heavy economy to one that exports services, technology, and logistics expertise. The island wants to become a place where ships dock, goods move, planes refuel, and digital transactions flow. If executed well, this could create thousands of jobs and transform Jamaica's global standing. To fully grasp Jamaica's ambition, we must look at two small yet mighty nations that rewrote their destinies: Singapore and Switzerland. Both are relatively small countries with limited natural resources, yet both wield enormous economic power. Singapore, once a struggling island nation with no oil or farmland, became one of the world's most advanced economies by mastering efficiency, innovation, and logistics. Its port connects nearly every continent, and its business-friendly environment attracts companies from around the globe. Switzerland took a different route. Through political neutrality, precision industries, and robust banking systems, it positioned itself as a global hub of stability. Despite being landlocked, Switzerland became a giant in finance, pharmaceuticals, and diplomacy. Jamaica can learn from both models: Singapore's logistical excellence and Switzerland's discipline and governance. The island's transformation depends on leveraging its strategic geography and maintaining long-term policy consistency. And Jamaica has already proven it can achieve major economic turnarounds. Between 2013 and 2019, Jamaica went from one of the world's most indebted nations to a symbol of fiscal discipline. With debt once soaring at nearly 150% of GDP, the country embarked on a tough IMF-backed reform program that stabilized its economy, reduced inflation, and restored investor confidence. By 2019, Jamaica's stock market was recognized as the best performing in the world, surpassing the US and every G7 country. Even the IMF, which once criticized Jamaica's policies, now praises it as a model of reform. This is proof that the nation has the capacity to execute big visions when leadership aligns with discipline. Tourism remains Jamaica's economic lifeblood, contributing around 30% of GDP. But what's happening now is far more than tourism recovery. It's a transformation. In 2023, Jamaica welcomed over 4 million visitors, generating more than $4 billion. The industry rebounded stronger than before the pandemic, signaling global confidence in the island's brand. However, Jamaica is now moving beyond the old all-inclusive resort model. There's a growing focus on eco-tourism, cultural travel, and community-based experiences. Tourists no longer want to stay behind resort walls. They want to experience the real Jamaica. That includes hiking the Blue Mountains, exploring local coffee farms, and attending live reggae shows in Kingston. Simultaneously, the real estate sector is booming. Returning Jamaicans from the diaspora and international investors are buying up properties at an unprecedented rate. From luxury villas in Montego Bay to sleek apartments in Kingston's business district, demand is skyrocketing. Developments like Reading Heights, the Lagoons, and Rhine Park Estates are attracting global interest. This surge has been fueled by improved infrastructure, greater stability, and Jamaica's appeal as both a tropical paradise and a business-friendly nation. Analysts project that Jamaica's real estate market could exceed $125 billion within the next decade. Real estate and tourism now work hand in hand, each feeding the other. Foreign buyers build vacation homes, which create local jobs and attract high-end tourism. Meanwhile, new resorts and eco-lodges open up previously underdeveloped areas, spreading growth across the island. But behind all the statistics lies something deeper, a national effort to redefine prosperity. Jamaica no longer wants to rely on external aid or short-term investments. It's building an economy based on creativity, resilience, and ownership. The foundation is set. What happens next will determine if Jamaica's cultural power can become true global influence. Beneath Jamaica's lush hills and turquoise waters lies an untold story, one that could reshape the island's economic destiny. For decades, Jamaica's wealth has come from the surface, its beaches, music, and culture. But now the government is looking underground, exploring the possibility that the island may be sitting on untapped mineral and energy riches. In 2025, the Jamaican government announced plans to begin piston core sampling, a scientific process used to identify potential oil or mineral deposits beneath the seabed. It's an early but significant step that signals a new direction in Jamaica's economic thinking. For a country that has long depended on tourism and remittances, the discovery of natural resources could be a game changer. However, history is filled with cautionary tales. Many countries that struck oil or gold became victims of the resource curse, a paradox where sudden wealth leads to corruption, inequality, and neglect of other industries. For Jamaica, the goal must be different. Any discovery must be managed transparently, with long-term public benefit at the heart of every decision. Imagine if Jamaica created a sovereign wealth fund, an investment pool that channels resource profits into infrastructure, education, and healthcare. Imagine if every Jamaican child had access to free tertiary education because of wise resource management. That is the vision leaders are now discussing. Not just extraction, but transformation. The island already has experience in mining, particularly with bauxite, the raw material used in aluminum production. Bauxite mining has been a pillar of Jamaica's economy since the 1950s, but it has also faced criticism for environmental damage and uneven profit distribution. This time, the government is determined to do things differently. New environmental laws, digital monitoring systems, and stronger local participation aim to ensure that any future resource exploitation benefits the people first. This move toward natural resource exploration symbolizes something larger. Jamaica is diversifying. It's moving beyond its comfort zones to build an economy that can weather global shocks. The challenge ahead is not just about what's beneath the soil, it's about what's above it: leadership, accountability, and vision. For all its promise and potential, Jamaica's journey to becoming a modern powerhouse will not be an easy one. The island faces deep-rooted challenges that must be confronted with courage and consistency. One major hurdle is scale. With a population under 3 million, Jamaica's domestic market is limited. That means the country must continue looking outward, expanding exports, attracting foreign investment, and developing industries that rely on creativity and technology rather than mass labor. Another major challenge is vulnerability. Jamaica's economy depends heavily on tourism, an industry that can collapse overnight due to hurricanes, pandemics, or global recessions. Building resilience through diversification into manufacturing, renewable energy, and digital services is essential for long-term stability. Then there's the issue that plagues many nations: corruption. For years, Jamaicans have struggled with political favoritism, inefficiency, and a lack of transparency in public institutions. Reports by Transparency International often highlight these concerns, showing that corruption remains a serious threat to national progress. But change is slowly taking root. The Integrity Commission, established to fight corruption and promote transparency, is becoming more assertive. Its investigations and reports are bringing greater accountability to the political system. Civil society movements, independent journalists, and digital activists are also demanding more from their leaders. Technology is playing a crucial role too. The government has been digitalizing services, reducing the need for physical paperwork, minimizing face-to-face transactions, and thereby cutting down opportunities for bribery. Online platforms for tax payment, business registration, and government tenders are helping create a more transparent system. Still, real change will require cultural transformation, where integrity is valued as much as talent, and where leadership is measured not by popularity, but by performance. The truth is, Jamaica's path forward depends on trust in governance, trust in institutions, and trust among citizens. Without it, even the most ambitious plans can crumble. With it, Jamaica could set a new standard for small nations on the rise. Beyond its borders, Jamaica's destiny is also tied to the wider Caribbean. The region, though small in population, holds immense potential when united. That's where the Caribbean Community, or CARICOM, comes in, a regional bloc designed to promote economic cooperation, integration, and collective strength. For years, CARICOM has struggled to achieve the kind of unity that transforms regions into power centers. But now, as global alliances shift and smaller nations seek collective voices, the Caribbean has a new opportunity, and Jamaica is right at the center of it. Imagine a Caribbean where Jamaica's logistics network connects with Trinidad and Tobago's oil expertise, Guyana's booming energy reserves, Barbados's financial innovation, and the Bahamas' tourism excellence. Together, this coalition could become a global trading bloc, an Atlantic version of ASEAN or the European Union. Jamaica, with its large population, cultural influence, and growing diplomatic reach, has the credibility to lead such a movement. Its voice already carries weight in international organizations, from the United Nations to the Commonwealth. But leadership in the Caribbean will require diplomacy, patience, and a vision that goes beyond national borders. The potential benefits are massive. A unified Caribbean market could strengthen regional supply chains, attract large-scale investments, and give member states greater bargaining power in global trade negotiations. It would also foster shared infrastructure projects, airlines, digital networks, and energy grids that reduce costs and increase competitiveness. Jamaica's foreign ministry has already begun pushing for deeper cooperation on issues like climate resilience, migration, and security. With global challenges such as climate change and inflation affecting small island nations disproportionately, collective action is no longer optional. It's survival. If Jamaica can help galvanize this regional unity, it won't just rise alone. It will lift an entire region, fulfilling the spirit of its motto, out of many, one people. Jamaica's next great chapter will not be written by politicians. It will be written by its young people. With over 60% of the population under 35, Jamaica is a nation of youth, energy, and innovation waiting to be unleashed. Across Kingston's creative spaces, Montego Bay's tech parks, and the quiet hills of Mandeville, young Jamaicans are building the future in ways previous generations only dreamed of. They are coders, filmmakers, digital marketers, and YouTubers. They are not waiting for the world to notice. They are building their own spotlight. The rise of remote work and the global digital economy has opened new frontiers for these creative minds. Platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, and YouTube have become gateways for Jamaican talent to earn global income without leaving the island. The same music and storytelling skills that once powered reggae and dancehall are now being used to create animations, advertisements, and online courses for clients across the world. Government programs like Startup Jamaica and Kingston Creative are nurturing this energy. They provide mentorship, funding, and networking opportunities to young innovators. JamPro, the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, has also been instrumental in promoting local startups, film production, and digital exports. In recent years, Jamaica has even made strides in animation and film, with local studios collaborating with international networks like Netflix and Cartoon Network. The country is fast becoming a creative hub where art meets technology. And the best part? This revolution doesn't rely on massive factories or foreign investors. It relies on brains, creativity, and the internet. Resources Jamaica already has in abundance. The next wave of Jamaican global influence won't just be in music or sports. It will be in apps, stories, and innovations that connect the Caribbean to the world. These young minds are proving that Jamaica's future isn't limited by geography. It's powered by imagination. There's a Jamaican saying that perfectly sums up the nation's character. We little, but we Talawa. It means we are small, but we are strong. This spirit has guided Jamaica through every chapter of its history, from colonial struggle to global recognition. That same defiant energy turned reggae into a worldwide movement and a small track team into Olympic legends. It built a cultural identity that is now a global phenomenon. And today, it fuels Jamaica's push toward economic transformation and self-reliance. What makes Jamaica unique is that it never waits for permission to dream. It takes pride in doing more with less, in turning adversity into innovation. That resilience has made the Jamaican flag one of the most recognized symbols in the world, a mark of excellence, creativity, and courage. Now, the island is writing a new chapter, one where culture meets commerce, and influence turns into independence. Jamaica's mission is no longer just to entertain the world, but to shape it. Jamaica's journey is far from over. The island that gave the world reggae, sprinting legends, and an unforgettable spirit of resistance is now charting a course toward economic sovereignty and regional leadership. Yes, the challenges are daunting: corruption, limited resources, and vulnerability to global shocks. But Jamaica's potential is undeniable. With responsible leadership, unity across the Caribbean, and youth-driven innovation, Jamaica can become a model for how small nations rise to global relevance. The message is clear: size doesn't determine strength, vision does. In an age where superpowers compete for dominance, Jamaica reminds us that cultural power can be just as influential as military might. So the next time you hear a reggae song playing across continents, or see the Jamaican flag wave at an Olympic finish line, remember, you're witnessing the heartbeat of a nation that refuses to be defined by its borders. You're witnessing proof that greatness doesn't require size, it requires purpose. If you believe in the power of small nations with big dreams, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because Jamaica's story is just beginning, and its next chapter might redefine what global power truly means.